friends, and welcome to another Arise with Susan show. So happy you joined me today, and we are coming at you from the Holy Spirit Broadcasting Network right here in beautiful, sunny Arizona. Now today, I feel like this interview with my very special guest is going to be one that will motivate you, empower you, inspire you to walk in all that God has created you for. Now, I know that many of you who watch Arise with Susan understand the 7 Mountain Mandate, but I'm going to give you a very, very brief explanation of what it is. Now, there are 7 mind molders, kingdoms, mountains that shape societies and nations. They are the church slash religion, education, family, government, media, arts, and business slash finance. Now, those who are at the top of those mountains, they're at the top, or those who surround those at the top of those mountains can shape the agenda that forms nations and influences those who shape policies. We have spent so much time focusing on the church mountain, that we have forsaken our responsibility to the rest of the world. We are called to influence. Now, this is a Lance Wallnau teaching. I just want to put that in there. The role of the church is to disciple and to send out, not to keep those that can influence their spheres in the church walls. Today, I am so thrilled to have with me my dear friend, a Chandler City Councilwoman, Nora Ellen. I just love her so much. You've been elected twice yes, to the city council there in Chandler, and she's also a successful businesswoman as well. She's on the Southeast Regional Board of Realtors.
Yes.
And on the Realtor Governmental Affairs Board. Right. Okay. So is that the same thing? Are they different things? Or?
No, it's just the government affairs. I'm just on right now on the Government Affairs Board. Yes.
Okay, very cool.
Yes.
Gosh, it's such an honor to have you on this show. Thank you for coming. My dear friend, we've known each other for quite a while now.
Many years.
We've ministered together on worship. We worship together. And I know that God has a special call in your life. And today, you're going to share with us that call in your life beyond being on a worship team.
Right.
Right? Right? Okay. And I'm so thankful for all you do and all that you do for the city of Chandler. And what you do for the city of Chandler will affect our state.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yes.
So please take some time and greet everyone and share your journey with us and why you chose to be in public office.
Okay. Thank you, Susan. It's an honor to be here and an absolute blast. So I actually started serving in the city of Chandler about 10 years ago. And what happened was, because I'm in real estate and a businesswoman, I got involved with the city. The mayor appointed me to his neighborhood advisory committee and then to his 4-corner retail committee, where we looked at older retail corners and what can we do to improve them so they don't deteriorate and hurt the city. And I was doing that for real estate, not knowing God was setting me up. So he's setting you up, and he's setting you up, right?
Yes, he's Jehovah Sneaky.
Yeah. So things we're doing for one reason, we don't realize he is doing for other reasons. And so I got to know the mayor and council members and a lot of city stakeholders. So back in 2012, there was an election, and the mayor encouraged me to run. There were 2 incumbents, and there was an open seat.
Okay.
There's reasons why he wanted me to run.
Yes, of course.
And
of course.
Before that in my life, I had people say to me, Nora, you should run for office. I think because of conversations I would have with people about policy or what's happening in government or our culture, our society, how we can influence. And I had some pretty powerful prophetic words. So when the mayor mentioned to me running, I thought, oh, could this be it?
Yeah.
And the next day, my son called me and said, Mom, what's happening? My son is in the state legislature here in Arizona, so he's the House Speaker. That's another subject. But he called me and said he's getting calls from council members and different people about my running. So I knew in that moment, that was like a suddenly of God, and he does that for your life, and you're right. Yeah. He suddenly, I knew in that moment, the mayor did what I thought he started like a fire, which would mean kind of he's behind me. And I just knew in that moment, the Lord wanted me to run. And I went into what I call the Moses syndrome. It's like, Lord, can't you send somebody else? Me? Part of it, I'm a single mom, so I'm working full time. I have my real estate business going. It's going really well.
Thank you, Jesus.
Right, and I love business. I knew then I was supposed to run, and I had 6 weeks to collect like 1,000 signatures. Okay. And start fundraising and everything you have to do to run for office. And I knew some of what to do because of my son being in the state legislature already. And he has his own testimony how God just steered his life into politics, because that wasn't his major in college, wasn't his plan. So God will set us up for where he wants us to go. So even in real estate, the activities that I was doing as a real estate agent, connecting with people, developing relationships, that helped me run for office, because very much the same activities I was doing for real estate, I would do for campaigning, calling people, serving, reaching out, networking. So that was really good. So that's kind of the short story of how I ran in 2012. And I did pray some prayers. One thing I prayed about is that I would be elected in the primary, because city elections for the mayor and council, at least here in Arizona, it is nonpartisan. So no parties at all with that election. And in order to get elected in the primary, which is really that the primary is for picking your Republican, Democrat, or whatever.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, that's what a primary is. Okay. It's to pick your party choice.
Okay.
So, but we still run in the primary, and if you get 50% of the votes plus one of what the mayor gets, or the total vote count, you can get elected in the primary. So that was my prayer. Lord, just let me get elected in the primary so I don't have to go to the general election in November. And there were the two incumbents. And I just prayed for me, I would be elected. And I was in the primary. I pretty much creamed everybody. And the two incumbents, I mean, God just made it so clear. And that's what I asked. You have to make it clear that this is you, Lord. I don't want it to be about me, Nora's agenda. I want this to be a calling of the Lord.
Right. Well, it is a calling.
So it is.
And there's an anointing on you, and the gifts that God's given you for the calling, and you're using them. You're using them.
With support. And that's the thing that people don't understand is you will get a lot of support really for wherever the Lord leads you. Everything is done as a team. So I had my kitchen cabinet, we called it, where there were people that met with me and we strategized my campaign. I had amazing people give me money, do fundraisers. And it did help with my son having gone that journey before.
Absolutely.
So I wasn't, and that's the thing, God will provide people, resources, whatever it is for these amazing places that he calls us.
Yeah. And there'll be challenges along the way.
Right.
But God.
Yes.
Wow.
And he's big. And he wants us to do big things. And again, what he showed me is in the body, we're a team effort. Like there's the ones that did the fundraising, the ones that gave me the money, the ones that voted for me. I mean, that was so humbling and sobering.
I bet.
I had tens of thousands of people vote for me that I never met and I would never meet. And I was so touched that they would take the time to vote for me and take that effort to vote for me so I could serve the city.
And to trust what was in you.
Yes.
To trust you and to have that favor, that would be a humbling thing.
It is
a truly humbling thing. And when we walk in that humility, what's going to happen? God is going to lift us up. That's the word. Wow. So let's talk about a little bit what is you can influence in many areas.
Right.
So talk about those areas that you can influence, what you what you see. Just be free to just share what's on your heart with us today.
Okay. Right. So as a council member, what we do, we're elected with the mayors, and most everybody knows there's a mayor, but not everybody knows there's elected council members. So we're the ones that make sure you have a policeman show up when you have an emergency, or a fireman. Your water that you drink or use, that's decided by your city elected officials.
Really?
Your streets, parks, the economic development. How does your city develop? Are there enough businesses to give you jobs? Do they make sure we don't put in too many apartments? We have single family homes.
Yeah.
Where on this corner, is it better to have a commercial building or is it better to have a multifamily building? Make sure that there's enough places for schools. And so we really don't do anything with education, but we do partner with the education community and working together for the benefit of the city. So that's one area we don't do anything about. That's school boards, and that's another area where people can serve.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's a lot of what we do. We meet with developers and different organizations that want to do something in the city, so the council can vote or give our staff direction. That is a lot of what we do. And we do have some things that come up that are more on the moral side that we work on, some. However, most of it is kind of administration is what I would call it, but we're all over the city. We go to groundbreakings, we go to ribbon cuttings, fundraisers for charities. It's a lot of it is just public relationships.
Yes.
So that's a lot of what we do, and that people don't know about. So the average citizen in Chandler, maybe any city, touches city services about 200 times a week.
Really?
200, and so we're more influential in your life than the president, than what happens on the national level.
Come on.
Than your U.S. senators, than your congressmen. We influence your lives more. And I just want to get that message out.
Good. And we need to.
Right.
We need to be aware. Wow. I did not know that.
Right.
I did not know that.
Most people don't. I didn't myself when I first.
Until you got in. Then you.
Yeah, I really saw it. I knew some of it before because I was a commissioner, but just even long before that, I had no idea. Most people don't. We just, because the news, we turn on the national news and most of us are focused on that national news.
Yeah.
We're not, local news, I think, reports too much on this accident happened, this person got murdered, and I tell people just turn that off.
Right.
Get your news a different way of what's your mayor doing? What are your council members doing? What is every county has supervisors. What happens in your county strongly influences your life and your state legislature so much more than the national level.
Wow.
So that's an eye-opener.
It really is.
Yeah.
That's a good thing to know. And you get to influence decisions made in the council.
Right. Exactly. In the city in a big way.
In a big way.
Yes.
In a big way.
Right.
And I know you've won the respect of your peers, the other council men and women in the council. Right. I know that. And I've seen pictures of you with a hat and a shovel and there's fun in it too.
Yes.
And you get to meet a lot of people.
I do.
I saw where you got to meet from Hobby Lobby, what's his name?
Oh, Steve Green.
Yes.
Yeah, that was wonderful.
Great
person. Yes.
Yeah. You got to meet him and you also now you do have influence, and I saw where you got to speak to not more than into young people's lives.
Yes.
So tell us about that.
That's right. Right. So because of my position, I do get to go to schools and talk to kids or just some different gatherings that people invite me to and influence in that way and with relationships. So
yes,
what we have to focus on, believers, is relationship.
Okay.
And part of the reason I'm saying and turn off the national news is you're getting to know people through somebody else's filter on the news.
Come on.
Instead of meeting them in person. And the good people, we don't tend to make the news. It's when there's corruption it seems to me like news has almost become more tabloid than factual.
Wow, that's an insight
tabloid.
right there.
And so that's why I'm saying turn it off.
Yeah.
In this day and age with social media, you can pick your sources for good information. I get my news from Twitter more than anywhere else.
Right on. Yeah.
Twitter is informational, it's professional, it's business, it is political, it's newsy. You don't read what somebody had for breakfast.
No.
Like on Facebook.
No. Right. Okay. But, and you know what I've noticed? I've been on Twitter a lot more in the last year, probably, than I have in the whole time I've had my Twitter account. Yeah. And it's like short to the point. Yes. And it's just like, boom, there it is. And you go to the next, and you go to the next. And then you can see little video clips. You can, you know what I mean? You're absolutely right. It didn't even dawn on me.
Right. And you're not going to have to look and think, oh, so-and-so was killed today in an accident. This person murdered this person. And because that's what the local news is mostly about. But you can get some great local news about your mayor, your council members, your state legislators.
Okay.
So here in Arizona, we are divided into districts. And each district has one state senator, not U.S. senator. It's a state senator.
State. Okay.
And a state house, a state representative. So our state government is the same. It's set up the same as our national government. Okay. So, you know, we have a president. In the state, we have a governor. And then we have our U.S. senators. We have our state senators. Okay. We have our U.S. congressmen or House of Representatives. Okay. And we have our state representatives. Wow. And our state legislature decides much more issues that affect our lives than, again, the national level. Okay. So I'm encouraging people, look local.
Look local.
Look local.
Local.
Yes. Your school boards. Your school boards decide what curriculum is going to be used. Do you know your school board members?
Jesus,
Call your school. Get to know them. You would blow them away if you called one of your school board members. Hi, I'm Susan, and I'm in your district here, your school district. I just want to thank you. Thank you for taking the time to run, to be on the school board, to look over the finances and the curriculum. Yeah. I just want to thank you. And that's it.
That's huge.
I'm a Christian. I just want to thank you.
Wow.
Could you imagine? I've never had a Christian call me and say, do that. But if they did, Nora, because so
we
often,
have a problem here.
Yeah. We're here if you have a problem, you want to criticize us. But when you look in Timothy, so 1 Timothy 2 says, 2:1, I urge then, first of all, that requests, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for everyone, for kings and all those in authority, that we may be live peaceful and quiet lives in all godliness and holiness. This is good and pleases God our Savior.
Wow.
So we focus too much on change this person and that person, but Lord, thank you for this politician. Yeah. Thank you for them, no matter what they've done. Right. Thank you for them. Bless them. Give them wisdom. If they don't know you, save them.
Yes.
And it changes our attitudes, because I believe as believers we've become too cynical about politicians because, again, national news only focuses on the negative, and there's more people who are politicians, and a politician is somebody that simply makes policy. That's what we are. Yes. We're policy makers. Yes. And most of us lead kind of quiet, good lives. And we don't always make the news because apparently the appetite in America is for tabloid. Is for negative controversy. The shock factor. Shock me. If you don't shock me, I'm not going to listen. And I think it's a big mistake as believers. We don't realize we're being distracted by the enemy to look and listen to that when you got your mayor, your council members, your school board members that you can influence for good, for godliness, for everything, leading peaceful, quiet lives. Call your council member. Write them a thank you note. Tell them you're a Christian. Write them a thank you note. They would be like, wow, is this what a Christian is? Is this what a believer is? That they reach out in relationship. So I want to encourage everyone, develop a relationship with your mayor, your council members, your school board members. Just look local, you will be influential. Look local.
I just feel that right now. It's like, it's only going to take a few minutes. And it will affect your life. Yes. You know what I mean? You take those few minutes and your life will be affected, and you're going to help other people's lives as our friends and the city council shape policy. That's what we need to grasp here. We all have an assignment. We all have a responsibility. That doesn't mean you have to run, but we can influence those who are on the mountain, people. That's what it's about.
Exactly.
That's what it's about.
Yes, it's about that kind of influence. And people would be surprised We think that the person, let's just take the governor, okay?
Yep.
And we think the governor's very influential. Well, he is, but it could be his chief of staff could be more influential than the governor. The aha that I had when my son got involved in politics was before he got elected, he was a staff person at the Capitol. He was a policymaker.
Okay.
And I saw the influence that staff has because they write a lot of the policy and they research policy and they will give advice and information to the governor, to the state legislators and the state senators. And so there's ways to influence without actually holding an office position, without being a politician. I say I'm an elected official because some people can, it's different than saying politician. But
Right.
yeah, so there's a lot of ways to influence. You can be on staff for someone in politics and influence that way.
Or write a letter, make a phone call. Take a moment to do that. Take that moment, take that time. It's worth it. It is so worth it. And because you don't know you just don't know that step of obedience. What she just read in 1 Timothy, just to pray. You pray for an elected official, that will shift your attitude. I've had to do that because I'm like, oh my God, let me just pray. Let me just pray. Let me just pray for them.
Exactly.
And it totally will shift me. I learned that from a pastor years ago when I wasn't in favor of who won an office. And he says, but you cannot speak badly. You have to pray. We take it to the throne.
Yes.
So we do our part.
We do our part. And I'm encouraging people, most believers pray for the president.
Yes.
Or maybe our U.S. senators.
Right, it's true.
Pray for your mayor.
Yeah.
Pray for your council members and your school board members.
Yeah.
Pray for them. We don't have as much prayer cover, but again, it's like you're taking this big, wide influence that isn't as, it weakens, and narrow it down. So narrow it down to just think local. That's what I want you to remember. Think local. With loving relationships. Just develop loving relationships. It's that simple.
That's so good. That is so good. I of course prayed and God just brought your name up to me, and I didn't know what this interview would hold, but even as I looked at your life and, I always do my research, it stirred something in me, my friends. It stirred something in me, for my ministry. As a ministry, I need to partner with those in my community.
Right, exactly.
It really did. And so I just have to release that. So if you're in ministry or just a mom, dad, whatever, be spurred on today, inspired on today to be an influence in local.
Exactly.
The local, go ahead.
And the way to know, if you wonder, well, how do I know who my council members are or who my state people, go on the county website, your Secretary of State here in Arizona, and that will help you know how to find who's representing you.
Yeah.
So get to know your state senator and your state representatives. Invite your council member to coffee and just listen to them. What are they doing? Share the love of God in that way.
Yeah. So if someone called you or wrote you or messaged you or whatever, said, you know what, can we just have a cup of coffee? What would your response be?
I would go with everyone. We go in Chandler, we go with everyone that has contacted us because not very many people do.
Come on. I encourage you. I spur you to arise. That's what this show's about, to arise. Take your place. Be responsible. Especially now, we've been given a voice. We've been given a voice more than ever this time, this season of our lives. We've been given a voice. Let's use that voice in love, in prayer for our local government, Yes, I thank you for addressing, and Nora, thank you for addressing that. We have to, it's like narrow it down, people. It's not so big.
Nope.
It doesn't have to be so big because that area can just go out and be a ripple effect.
A huge effect.
Yeah.
An immense effect on the local level. Yes.
Wow. Oh my gosh, I know time's getting away. And is there anything else that you want to add before we go to the one last thing? Is there anyone that you want to encourage people to do, or go girl?
Yes, again, just know who your local people are, your mayor and your council member and your state legislators. Know who they are. It's very simple. And support them. Support them. and support the ones that make biblical policy.
Come on.
So there's ones that are Christians,
Mm-hmm.
and I know a lot of believers that are in politics, and there's some that don't know how to make good policy. So we need good people that make good policy.
That's good.
There's just
They use wisdom.
Yes.
They have
Wisdom.
knowledge, and they just don't go in there willy-nilly.
Right. I got that from Lance Wallnau.
Lance Wallnau.
That.
Yeah, well, the lot of stuff that we were talking about is Seven Mountain stuff.
Right.
It's those who surround the leader in the mountain. We can be an influence. Please, if you get anything, you can be an influence.
Yes.
I'm trying to do my part and walk in obedience to what God has called me to highlight these people who are making a difference in their community, in their family, in their spheres. So let's do that. You can too. You can too. All right. One more thing before we go. You are running for legislature, state legislature.
Yes.
Really quick.
So I'm termed out on Chandler City Council. I'm running for the State House of Representatives here in Arizona for next year, 2018. That's where God's leading me next to become a state legislator here.
Yeah.
And so we'd love for prayer from you all and any support you can give me or my son also, J.D. Mesnard. He's actually the Speaker of the Arizona House of Representatives and pray for him. Awesome man of God and doing a lot of things to bless our state. So we are running.
Yeah. And I know a lot of you are listening in different states, even in different countries, but the same thing applies to you. You can still contact the city officials in your state. It's the same way. Wouldn't it be the same way?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yep. Think local and
local.
Love them with relationship.
Yeah.
And prayer.
Yeah, that is so good. We can pray. We can pray and we do our part. God's going to do his part. He will do his part when we do our part. And he's so faithful to do it. And so that's what this show is about. Again, arise and all that God has called us to arise to. And that's what, Nora, that's what you've done, my friend. You know, it takes courage. It takes courage and God can empower us. God can give us that courage. We take this one step at a time. Heck, man, I started my show out on a radio. I didn't even, if you ever thought I was going to do this, I would think you were on crack. Yep. You know what I mean? I mean, who'd have thunk? So, just do it. And you know what? We can do it afraid.
Yes, we can.
We can, because God, when he qualifies us, when he calls us, he qualifies us, he equips us, just like Nora. Yeah. That's what he's done for you.
He did.
And it started all in business and her having a yes in her spirit.
It was a yes. Mm-hmm. And he sends people to help you. He gives you everything that you need, the courage that replaces the fear, and he shows you what to do. Yeah. And then you influence and you change everybody's lives around you.
So let's get out there and let's go do that. Let's influence. Let's walk in our spirit of influence. Thank you for watching Arise with Susan. God bless you, and we will see you next time.
You're watching the Holy Spirit Broadcasting Network, hsbn.tv.